Today's experience is that of an atheist who met Jesus after he died. He saw shocking things in heaven that no one would want to miss. Kindly stay to the end to fully understand his experience. Hi, my name is Abraham. For as long as I could remember, the idea of a divine being that's God was nothing more than a fairy tale to me. I had spent my life dismissing the concept of God. In school, students would often approach me with evangelistic zeal, hoping to win me over. These conversations rarely lasted long. I would quickly dismantle their arguments, reveling in my ability to catch them off guard with questions they couldn't answer. I saw their faith as naive, but 3 questions continued to linger in the back of my mind, haunting me even after I'd sent another student away in frustration. Why does the universe exist at all, rather than not existing? Where does morality come from if there is no higher power? Why do humans, unlike other animals, have this deep longing for purpose? These questions seemed inconsequential in the day-to-day, but every so often, they would creep into my thoughts, gnawing at the foundation of my disbelief. But life went on, and I ignored the discomfort these questions brought, dismissing them as unsolved puzzles. I had always prided myself on being strong, independent. I was used to winning arguments, used to being the one with the answers. But then the sickness came. I went from a vibrant, energetic man to a shadow of my former self. The doctors didn't mince words. It was terminal. The realization that my life would end, sooner than I'd ever anticipated, hit me like a wave, one I couldn't argue my way out of. As my health declined, those questions I had once brushed aside started to feel less like academic exercises and more like demands for answers. Where would I go when I died? Was there more? I told myself I didn't care, but that inner voice kept urging me to confront the reality I'd dismissed. As the days blurred together, I felt myself fading. My body grew weaker with each passing hour, as if life itself were slipping through my fingers, beyond my ability to hold on to. I lay in the hospital bed, aware of every shallow breath, feeling each heartbeat grow softer. An invisible force seemed to stir around me, pulling me towards something unseen, something inevitable. There was a strange peace, but also a sense of surrender, of letting go of everything familiar. My resistance waned. I was no longer fighting. It was as if an unseen hand was lifting me gently, carrying me somewhere I couldn't begin to understand. When I opened my eyes again, the sterile walls of the hospital room were gone. I found myself standing in a place so wondrous, I lacked the words to describe it. Colors swirled around me, brighter and more alive than anything I'd ever seen. It was as though each color had a life of its own, each hue vibrating with energy and purpose. I realized I was no longer bound by the weight and frailty of my earthly body. There was a profound sense of presence here, something sacred and overwhelming that surrounded me, filling every part of my being with awe. I knew, deep in my soul, that this place was real, more real than anything I'd ever known on earth. In the distance, I saw a great throne room, illuminated by a blinding, magnificent light. Around the throne were 24 figures, bowing and casting their crowns before a figure whose glory I couldn't fully comprehend. I could see only from afar. His brilliance was too much for me to bear. These were the 24 elders, which I got to find out, worshipping in a way that transcended any human experience. As I stood in stunned silence, I began to truly absorb the beauty and majesty of the place around me. I was surrounded by such purity and splendor that it felt almost overwhelming, yet peaceful at the same time. I had arrived in a realm beyond my deepest dreams or imaginings. My gaze fell upon a vast sea that stretched out before me, clear and still like polished glass. Its surface reflected everything around it, casting the heavens in its depths. This sea seemed to carry a peace I could feel emanating from its every ripple, filling me with calm. The water was like a perfect mirror, flawless and untouched, as if it held the wisdom of countless ages. I sensed that this sea wasn't just a part of heaven. It was alive, vibrating with an energy that was both serene and powerful. Beyond the sea, I noticed an array of beings, choirs of angels stretching into the horizon. They sang, their voices blending in a way that defied description. Each angel's voice was unique, yet it harmonized so completely with the others that together they created a sound that resonated deep within my soul. It was as if every note held layers of meaning and emotion I had never known before, weaving love, reverence, joy, and awe into a single melody. Their song wasn't just beautiful. It seemed to convey a message of eternal truth and devotion, each note telling a story of worship beyond the limits of time and space. Listening to them was like feeling a part of creation itself unfold around me, each sound awakening something ancient within me that I hadn't realized existed. Colors appeared around me that I had no names for. As I continued to look around, my eyes fell upon a tree so immense and splendid that it seemed to hold the weight of eternity within its branches. This tree was unlike any I had ever seen, its branches stretching far and wide, its roots firmly planted yet seeming to reach into realms unseen. Its leaves shimmered softly, radiating a light that felt calming, like waves of a warm, gentle breeze washing over me. Each leaf appeared to pulse with life, giving off an energy that was both powerful and deeply soothing. I knew instinctively that this was the tree of life, and from it flowed an energy that sustained this entire realm. I could sense its roots running deep, tapping into a source of vitality that was pure and eternal, connecting every living thing here in a vast, unbroken chain of existence. Near the base of the tree of life, I noticed a large, open book resting upon a golden pedestal. The book radiated a gentle glow, and as I looked closer, I realized it was no ordinary book. Its pages were filled with words, names, and records, each one etched with a level of detail that seemed to contain entire lives within each line. As I peered closer, I saw glimpses of people's stories, their hopes, dreams, joys, and sorrows, all preserved here. Somehow, I understood that this book held the records of lives, a testament to each soul's journey. This wasn't just a ledger. It was a testament of purpose, the stories of humanity kept safe in this heavenly place. It was as if all of humanity's longings, every moment of grace or struggle, had been woven into this divine narrative. I sensed a presence approaching me, powerful yet gentle, filling the space with an unmistakable warmth. It was a presence that commanded reverence and drew me in with an overwhelming sense of peace and kindness. As I turned, I saw him, Jesus, standing before me. He appeared both radiant and humble, a figure of love and majesty that seemed beyond description. His eyes met mine, and in that gaze, I felt completely known, seen in a way I had never experienced before. His eyes held an infinite kindness, yet also a deep gravity, as if he understood everything about me, every hidden thought and doubt I had ever held. I felt exposed, as if every question, every defiant stance I had ever taken against the idea of God was laid bare. But there was no judgment in his gaze, only an acceptance so profound that it unraveled me. He looked at me with a compassion that went beyond mere understanding. He knew me, truly knew me, and he loved me still. Then he spoke, and his voice was rich, warm, and full of an authority that carried a sense of both timelessness and intimacy. I am the life, the giver of life. I am here because I have always loved you. You searched for purpose, and here it is, to know me, to be loved, and to love in return. I literally remembered everything because the things he said meant all to me. As he spoke, the questions I had carried all my life, the doubts that had fueled my disbelief, began to fade, dissolving in the presence of his words. It was as if every argument I had crafted, every clever reason I had found to deny him, was met with a gentle, undeniable truth that left no room for rebuttal. He answered the questions I had thought were unanswerable, the doubts I had guarded so closely. And in his presence, I realized that the purpose I had sought for so long was not an abstract concept but was found in him, in knowing him and being known by him. He explained to me the heart of God, a truth so simple yet so profound, that God's greatest desire for humanity was for each person to experience his love, to find fulfillment in a relationship with him. Salvation, he explained, was not about rules or doctrines alone, but about embracing a love that transformed, a love that healed. It was as if his words peeled away the walls I had built around my heart, and I could finally see the beauty of God's plan for humanity. I have always known you, and I have always loved you, even when you couldn't see me or wouldn't believe. I forgive you, not because of what you have done or not done, but because that is who I am. At that moment, an indescribable warmth flooded my entire being, a love that seemed to pour over me like sunlight after years of shadow. I felt the weight of guilt, of stubbornness, of disbelief, lifting from me, as if they had never been mine to carry. I was forgiven fully and freely. There was no anger, no disappointment, only a love so complete that it left me speechless. In his presence, I understood that the questions I had clung to, the doubts I had raised, were only obstacles I had placed between myself and the truth of who he was. I realized that the answers I had so desperately sought had always been here, waiting for me to see them. And just as suddenly as he had appeared, he stepped back, leaving me in a peace that I could finally feel in every fiber of my being. I knew that this encounter had changed everything, that I was no longer the same person who had questioned and resisted and doubted. I had been met by love itself, and that love had embraced me, faults and all, without hesitation. A warmth unlike anything I'd ever felt flowed over me. It was forgiveness, pure and unearned. I could feel the burden of every mistake, every harsh word, every act of disbelief lifting from me, dissolving like mist in the morning sun. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in my hospital bed. I could hear the hum of machines, the soft voices of doctors and nurses around me. But something had changed. I had seen heaven, and I had met the one who gave me life. And I knew I would never be the same. To those who deny the existence of God, I urge you to consider the deep questions of your soul, the ones that stir in the quiet moments and leave you wondering if there is more to life than mere chance. Life without God may seem self-sufficient, even liberating, but beneath it lies a hollowness that no philosophy, achievement, or possession can truly fill. There is a God who created you, who loves you with a depth beyond understanding, and who calls you to find purpose, meaning, and life itself in him. Do not ignore that quiet voice within you, drawing you toward the truth. Jesus stands with open arms, not to condemn but to give life abundantly. He is the source of hope, love, and eternal purpose, and in him alone will your soul find rest. To my fellow Christians, I encourage you to live in a way that reflects the calling we have received. We are called to be lights in a world searching for truth, vessels of God's love and compassion. Let us not be swayed by the world's standards but hold firmly to the values Christ taught us. Every action, word, and thought should reflect his grace, mercy, and holiness. Remember, we are not only recipients of his love but representatives of it. Let us walk with humility, integrity, and a passion for living out our faith with authenticity. By our lives, may we show others the beauty of a life surrendered to Christ. Alright friends, this brings us to end of today's experience. Kindly like and share this video with your friends and families. Kindly subscribe to our channel and turn on your notification bell icon to be the first to get updated anytime we upload a new experience sent to us. Remain blessed.